There we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Frigid Hyperion, and welcome to Session 4 of Wilds of Wildemount. Uh, I will introduce everybody. Um, there's Lily as Windchime, Quinn as Animo, Kyle as Miles, myself, Cameron, as Moonzik, Rocky as Edward, Kale as Brahm, and Emily is our Dungeon Master, who will give us a recap as we continue forward.
Hello. Alrighty. Last time here with our friends on the Wave Chaser. You all were getting ready to prep to travel down into the Shark Feather Abyss when a ship of the Clovis Concord intercepted you and attempted to board and apprehend the ship. Fighting them off with literal tooth and nail, even falling a couple of you down to death saves. You all ended up basically fighting them off and have now since come to rest, and that's where we pick up. You all have just gotten the word from your lovely Captain Three Earrings to throw them down into the brig. And with the two remaining sailors from the ship that intercepted you from the Clovis Concord. All very tired after having such a hard fight, have now made your way into your sleeping quarters, where you have now long rested. You guys are getting ready to approach the Shark Feather Abyss. Is there anything that you want to do beforehand?
Upon waking up... Oh, go ahead.
Brom really wants to talk to somebody about what just happened. He's from last episode, I had made allusions to the fact that he hadn't killed a person before. And he's still shaking as he wakes up this morning. He was unable to sleep well. Visions of the fight flashing in his mind. He's going to look to his party. He's going to ask, so, all of you, have you been in combat like that before?
When trying to live alone, I've faced a few situations in which things like this seem to follow, in the same kind of light. Yes.
I've always said I would kill for my family, but I never expected to actually do it. And you can watch him put his head in his hands. He looks green around the gills, almost. He looks up, he says, I'm not sure I can do this. This is so much more than I signed up for.
Where's your sense of adventure, my friend? It's really...
Adventure?
Really nothing.
We killed people, Miles.
You defended yourself, my friend. You did what had to be done.
I defended the ship. A ship I don't own.
Enough.
For pirates.
Moonzik
Miles,
kind
I
of...
think it might be good to sort of lay off of him. He's had a lot to think about, and he's not exactly in the best headspace as of now. I can understand what you're going through. I know you never ever wanted to come through and do any of what we all did yesterday.
Well, the only thing I had to say was, I mean, mainly I've done a few sparring. I've not killed often unless it was for hunting.
There have been times where I've had to defend myself from people hunting me for one reason or another, and I've given them multiple chances to turn tail and run, but ultimately I had to kill them, and while it's never easy taking a life, it just has to be done sometimes.
Did it have to be done? What would have happened to us if we had explained the situation? We had just said, we did not know this was a pirate ship. This is what we're looking to do. If we had surrendered peacefully.
Then I doubt the people of the Clovis Concord would be quite sympathetic given our circumstances found directly within the middle of a pirate ship.
Quite honestly,
And I
My best
just
guess was
saying.
that maybe they might have enough mercy to give us a trial before convicting us either way and throwing us in a dungeon or something.
my
I feel like it would be best not to take that risk.
my feeling is, even if they were to interrogate us and we come forward with our honest truths and opinions, I feel like our fate would be the same either way, and we would probably end up in some sort of dungeon, or even executed.
Perhaps there could be a benefit out of both sides as well. We'll have to see what happens.
A benefit to being executed? Have you gone mad?
Like I
Said
said,
anything about
maybe
a
if they
future,
were
my son.
merciful, we might have ended up in a dungeon instead of having our heads chopped off.
See, you're all taking this the wrong way. Perhaps we could do a favor. Find a way to get excused, per se.
That's a very, very optimistic viewpoint given our circumstances of, us being on the same ship and aiding
What the heck?
wanted criminals of the state.
Finding that we have bigger things at hand.
I want to refresh. That was weird.
They don't know what happened. I don't think yet.
Why?
And when they attacked us, we may
Sorry
need to explain what.
sorry to break the immersion here, but what? Does anybody else see Lily's name in the bottom right corner?
Yeah.
That's me. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I adjusted it.
Okay.
Let me.
I just wanted to make sure
I guess
my
I'll just.
computer wasn't freaking out.
Alright.
You can just reset your player video avatar location. Over in the audio video display, reset player video avatar location.
Beautiful, thank
I
you.
apologize.
Alright. Back in character, you can see Brahm still clutching white-knuckled. Of course, you're right. I jumped into the fray only because I saw you guys were in danger. But I don't know. I doubt we handled that the best way we could.
When
As long
Chime
as we have
crosses
each other's.
towards Brahm and puts her hand on his shoulder. Oh, Brahm, it's okay. Everything happens for a reason, and I've seen a lot of people pass in my times of healing and trying to help people through terrible injuries, and sometimes it's just their time to go. And there's somebody watching over us right now, making sure that we find the path that we're supposed to be on.
She's right. And quite frankly, you defended not only the ship, you have defended yourself, and you defended your fellow man. If it weren't for you, I could be dead, and from my understanding, so could Windchime. You've saved us, and I at least owe you.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'm sorry you can see me like this after you so graciously let me tag along. I know I asked for this in search to get my farm back from my family. I suppose I should have known what I was signing up for.
Not your fault. You don't have the power of premonition. It's okay to not know what all of this entire journey entails, and at least I appreciate that you are able to at least respond and react to it accordingly. You did
When
what
we
must
do
be
get
done.
that scepter, do you think we can do more good with it if we don't give it up to the pirates immediately? They didn't really help us all that much during the fight. I'm concerned they might take it and run.
That is my fear as well. And quite
I
honestly,
personally also agree. I don't trust them with something this powerful.
with us doing most of the legwork and defending their own ship, I feel like we're owed some answers.
I agree. But before we
agree
do any
too.
of that, Miles, you can write, can't you?
Yes, I can.
Can you do me a favor?
Certainly, my friend. What is it?
It's rather private, but I'd like you to write something down for me. Can I pull him into scheming?
What we're gonna do here, because we still want it to be on the recording here.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and you can take your headphones out, or you can mute yourself. I will at you all in the wilds of Wildemount to when you can come back.
I will follow you guys into scheming. I will mute myself, and I will step
No,
away.
no, we're gonna stay here. Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
okay, that
we'll
works
just stay
too.
here.
That works too.
Just take off your.
I'm just gonna mute and step away. Give me, yep, just at me when you're ready, or send me a message on Facebook. Actually,
Facebook.
Kyle, you're here, and perfect. Everybody's all good already.
I've got something
You take
pulled up, so when you're ready,
take
just let me know.
Miles off to the side, back into the quarters. Sit down at a table below deck.
I don't have much, but that last fight, I almost died when I went into the water. I had to kill someone else just to survive. With that reality on me, I want to send one last message to my family should I perish beneath the waves here. Can you write it out for me if I dictate?
Of course, friend. And you'll see Miles kind of lick a feather, dip it in some ink. He's got some parchment ready.
I know I never showed my pride in you boys. I always was harsh because I wanted you to learn to till the land yourself, to make the world by your own hands. But I want you to know that you too are the greatest gift I could have ever asked for. Dean, take care of your brother. Ronald, stay strong. I know you two will do great things. I still have with me the blanket of your mother. If I should pass in this upcoming fight, know I fought for us, and I held her in my heart, and I want you to have this. To my brother, Horst, thank you so much. I know we were never ones for loving gestures or words, but you've always been there for me when I needed. And I love you too. Thank you. You're gonna see Brom wipe a tear from his face. I don't expect them to ever have to see that letter, but I would rather have told them how I feel before I go. Thank you.
Miles will
Thank you
stand up
for-
for a moment. Look at you. Anytime, my friend. And you'll see him just kind of shed a small tear and kind of give him the first time you've actually seen Miles like give somebody just like a good gesture, kind of like a side hug or like a hey, hang in there thing. We're gonna be okay, my friend. And if you do need this delivered, I have a way to do it. I'm pretty sure everybody will be fairly safe. I'm sure I can call if you want this delivered before we leave.
No. That is for if I pass. If I die, make sure it gets to them. Yourself. In person. Please.
You've got it, friend.
Thank you.
You guys return to the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
Yes.
Eyes in Wilds of Wildemount. Rule 20.
Yep.
Animal has made his way into the crow's nest. I has screamed. Yo ho, it's the pirate's life for me.
Jesus. As Brom. Oh, actually, is everybody here?
I'm here.
Yeah,
Now.
Okay. As Brom leaves his quarters, you can see watery eyes from him, but he seems back to his gruff state fairly quickly.
Miles will say one more thing. Before we go up, everybody can just, that's fine, while we're going up. At least you got to say goodbye. And have a chance.
Wow, really hard to tell your kids they're adopted, huh? Ooh.
I nod and I continue.
You all
So-
make your way back on deck of the Wave Chaser.
Yep.
Slash Anemu, who's up in the crow's nest.
Yo.
I'm gonna roll.
Yo.
I'm gonna roll a Constitution check just to see like how bad Moonzik is feeling after being, knocked out on deck and all that. That one there.
Yo.
I feel
that's
You're
nothing.
pretty good.
All right, rather I feel great. Apparently.
You,
In fact,
you wake well rested.
in fact, I think
Longer rest.
like being knocked out like that, I think straightened out whatever back issue I may have had.
I guess. Therapeutic sleep.
I'm talking about.
No. I got it. You get the benefits of a longer rest. It's just a longer It's a longer rest.
Well,
As a side note, I did want to offer, this is something that you guys should all know. If you do happen to get your own ship or your own stronghold, like your own your place, basically, there are rules for extended rests, where you gain benefits by being home. But again, we're kind of a little bit far out from that before you guys would be able to buy or commandeer your own ship or stronghold. But there is rules for that. You guys could build a city if you wanted to.
Fuck yeah!
Oh my god! Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I have the rule sets and everything needed for that to be able to happen. So thank you, by the way, ahead of time for Matt Colville or MCDM for providing me with that wonderful handbook. Strongholds and followers. Check it out.
In case we wanted to become farmers and fletchers and open up our own shop.
No, in case you wanted to become the lord of your own city, maybe.
Tyrant.
And have your own army.
Or
You could
commandeer
have
the
your own
Wave
army.
Chaser.
Or commandeer the Wave Chaser.
These are options that you have.
That is not a plan I have, Wink.
Man, the plan he has is he wants to own his farm and rebuild it and not be in debt. And also
Just
spend the rest of his time with his kids.
Put the farm on the Wave Chaser.
Well, depending on the size of the ship, there's some flexibility. At any rate, anything else you guys want to do?
We're going to be headed towards the Sogwin later, right?
Yeah, we're heading to Sharkfeather Abyss.
Yeah, just so that I don't forget later, I'm going to cast Mage Armor on me preemptively so that, I don't have to worry about forgetting later.
Of course.
Moonzik's just gonna go to the bow of the ship and look out over the ocean and just look for anything and look out in general.
Mm-hmm. That goes for anybody. Now's a good time to put your armor on.
Oh yeah, I suppose Moonzik should do that as well before going to look at the ocean.
Can we wear armor underwater?
Mm-hmm.
Leather armor goes on, I get. Well, actually, no, unarmored defense, right?
Yep, Barbarian.
Yeah. Barbarian.
About any armor you want, I think.
Have we figured out how we're going to communicate underwater?
Bloop, 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 bloop,
No,
bloop.
I don't have.
Two bubbles for no, one bubble for yes.
Understood. Let's go.
You
No,
guys
I
do have the helmets. If I'm going to specifically ask for Edward. Edward, if you want to spend a few moments looking at these helmets, I can, depending on what you roll, I can get you information about them.
Ooh, alright. So, what do I do to inspect the helmets? Like an intelligence?
Well, you grab them. Yeah, it would be an intelligence roll.
I'd like to make investigation on them. I would like to find out
I'm gonna
how they
check the
allow.
pause button, but I was a 21.
You're also looking? You said Anemo?
Yeah, Anemo would wanna see, because he can already stop himself from breathing for a very long period of time. I mean, anybody can do that, but in a way that he doesn't die. But it would be, he's interested in the technology that allows other people that are not him
To mimic a fraction of his
to
power.
mimic a fraction of my power. Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you,
Look what they have
Omni-Man.
to
Go ahead.
do.
Go ahead and roll your intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence?
Or you can do an investigation, sure.
That's a terrible
6.
investigation roll.
Woo!
You suppose that these helmets would allow the wearer to breathe underwater.
Woo!
Who would have guessed that these water-breathing helmets would let you breathe? Got this. Underwater.
Only a Nemo.
Only a name.
Miles is gonna write up a quick note, and then he's gonna whistle in the air like he's summoning something. So he's gonna try and whistle, thinks about it, and then pulls out his flute and plays a little bit of a tune.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm sure it's gonna take time for a little while, but I would like to see if Hedwig heard that little call there. Or Hedwig.
Go ahead and roll a d4.
Ooh, 3.
It takes him 3 days to get here, wherever he is.
Okay.
He's pretty far away right now.
Yeah. That's fine. I'll
Mm.
wait for him. I'm gonna be down underneath there for a while, I'm sure.
You have an owl named Hedwig.
I sure do.
Of course.
Okay.
Well,
What was the inspiration
you
for the
wouldn't
name?
know this, though,
Curious.
right off the bat.
You would just see him calling. Let's see. Rocky, this is the information that you got with your...
Okay, so that's like a magical property. Right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna look to the party. I'm gonna say, okay, so apparently there's been a spell enchanted within this certain helmet. The helmet itself contains this bubble, and this bubble contains about an hour or so of breathable air, and this bubble replenishes in the day after you take it out of the water. Quite a clever spell, I actually think. It's pretty simple and it's kind of crude, but it was well placed within this helmet. We have about an hour within this helmet if we decide to go down there. So I really hope we don't lose anyone there, because if we ever get captured by them, I don't think we'd be able to surface in time for us to get more air.
This is sounding more and more like a bad idea.
I never trusted those helmets anyway.
More like you didn't need one of those helmets anyway.
It seems like it's just better to keep the air that I know came from the sky rather than this air from... So I don't even know where it comes from.
So,
Not all of us have the luxury of having unlimited breath.
now, hold on just 1 minute. You say
I
that
can only hold
that
my...
the air replenishes at dawn.
Correct. Most enchanted items of this nature generally tend to replenish their expended arcane properties within dawn.
Could that potentially mean that we start to explore an hour before dawn for 1 hour, and then when dawn hits, the air is replenished, and we could continue exploring for another hour.
Ooh, that's
Still
really
2 hours at most. If we get captured, who knows how long the Sargwind might keep us there before we run out of air and inevitably drown.
Still, if we're doing this, an extra hour could be the difference.
That I do
Yes,
agree.
perhaps
I do
they
agree. I'm
find a
not
way to-
denying. I'm not denying the practical application of obtaining another hour underwater, but I'm just saying be careful and be keen about what happens down there.
That's also... Let's make it 50 minutes extra. I'd like 10 minutes of rollover for miscalculations on terms of time.
That is fair. In that case, we should also account for 50 minutes before dawn, in case there's any time, in case we miscalculate and we run out of air before dawn comes.
Exactly.
Does anybody have any watches? We should match up our time sets if we do, but I don't have a watch.
Nemo likes to watch up in the crow's nest.
Okay. Do watches exist?
They do exist.
Okay.
They're expensive. Watches are expensive, but they do exist.
It's a timekeeper on your wrist.
I thought it goes in your pocket.
Yeah,
That's a pocket
I mean,
That's a pocket watch.
I never even heard of a wristwatch.
Oh, did you hear? There's also ankle watches. For the
Is
really
that where you watch somebody's ankle?
yeah, it's a little bit crude, but you know.
Yeah, I've heard about those. No, I just look at the sun and then guesstimate.
I don't think we can see the sun from underwater though.
We won't know until we try.
no, I agree with Windchime on this one. After you go down a certain depth, the sunlight that permeates through this layer of water itself becomes less and less until you gradually see the light from the surface fade away.
Well, how far are we
Would
going
you know
down?
that?
Have you ever tried to open your eyes underwater? It hurts.
Honestly, I'm more familiar with the air than the water.
Well, I can say
But,
that,
you know, I don't usually open my eyes
well, I
underwater.
can say
Like,
that
after
I'm
a
more
certain
familiar
depth,
with the
you wouldn't
land
be
than
able to see
either.
the sun.
Or I should probably get some goggles or something. Maybe that helmet has another use.
Wait, Emily, do we have an extra helmet that's for a Nemo that the blacksmith gave us, but like
Yep.
like a Nemo said that he didn't need?
Correct.
I mean, what I think we could probably do here is we could probably bring the extra helmet. And Nemo clearly doesn't need one due to his physiological difference between us. I propose that if any one of our helmets gets damaged within battle or within anything else, I think we should probably keep a Nemo's helmet handy in the event that we could quickly replace the helmet of one person with another, thereby extending our breathable time that we can spend underwater for one individual by an additional hour.
Well,
I say genius, and then go up and try and give Edward I'm trying to get Edward to dab me up, if you understand.
I don't.
so how
I
does the spell?
pass it off as a high five. Okay.
Yes, you have a question? I see you raised your hand.
So
You
actually,
are no longer a genius in my mind.
Music raises his hand in the same way, actually having a question. So how do we know that these? How do we know how these things are actually activated? Do they? Does the spell activate once it hits the water, or does it activate once we put them on?
I mean, it's breathable air. I'm assuming this entire helmet itself is sealed airtight so that no circulation of any fluids or gas can be exchanged between the surface of the helmet. So it's breathable helmet as long as we have it on.
You could see Brom furrowing his face, in deep concentration, trying to understand it. I'm gonna roll. Intelligence roll.
Ooh, another nat 20. That's the
Let's
second
go.
one today.
Yeah, definitely get all your nat 20s out now, huh?
This.
Oh,
Oh god.
Get them all
Uh,
out now. So that we
Despite
won't have
having
good.
no clue what like half of the words mean, he goes, so the bubble probably just stays in the helmet, and the only way to expend it is breathing it?
That's right. At least that's what Edward is saying.
Yes, correct.
Nice. Now, what was all that stuff about gas and liquid? What are those? Only gas I know about is the kind that comes out of my butt.
We
Aside from your vulgar statement, gas itself is just any particular substance that takes up the entire volume of the container that it's within, generally less dense than a liquid, which also shares the property but doesn't actually dissolve into the entire volume of the container.
that I don't believe he was looking for an in-depth explanation of what a gas was, and quite frankly, neither was I.
Volume container for your furled face again. Oh, I think I get it. So, like, air is a gas, and water is a liquid?
Yes, that's correct.
Nice.
Ew.
What is he talking about with volume and all this? Volume is the noise of your voice. You're just gonna sigh disappointedly.
You breathe out your voice, duh.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're just gonna give Brom all the misinformation.
I mean, for now, let's elect one individual to be able to carry the extra helmet in the event that one of us does have one of our helmets damaged with
I'm
it.
good at holding things on my waist, Enemo says as he shows his daggers, and you now realize that there is a stuffed animal. The stuffed animal is of like a tiny like little white cat. She's just there. You never really noticed it before, but he's on top of all of this clothing. There's also a stuffed animal.
All right.
Animo.
Animal.
Aminal.
Animal.
I mean, I do think it would be beneficial for you to carry on to it, seeing as you can't drown underwater. Perhaps if...
Well, if I get knocked out, it's a different story, but I'm too strong for that.
Then
Well,
I
that
elect-
way, if he
Yeah,
gets
Mo
knocked
can
out,
relax
we
and
can
flex
quickly
on
put
his
it
muscles.
on. We can quickly put it on him.
I elect that. I agree. I elect that we have Animo hold on to the spare helmet for us in the event of anything happening.
I'll tell. Yeah.
I have no
All
problem.
right, I'm
with
gonna
that.
hand Animo the spare helmet. Anyway,
So when do we get going?
next order of business. We should be pursuing 3 earrings about some answers to some questions. One particular question I have in mind is, what the hell are we going to do once we retrieve this Rod. It's been a subject that she's danced around for quite some time now. And I would at least like to see to get to the bottom of this.
I agree. Let's,
Hello.
Hmm?
I'm not gonna be leading, the charge on,
No, that's fine, but does anyone else here have any particular questions that need answered from Three Earrings herself?
I know the one question that I'm sure everybody's thinking of is what the hell exactly is she going to do with the scepter once we obtain it? And what is
Is
their
that all?
plan for
Any other
us?
questions?
And what is the plan for us once our job is finished?
Oh, that's another good one. Anything else? I mean, I am relatively curious as to why she's... what her exact sort of standing is with the particular government around in this area. Anyone else want to go into her quarters with me?
I'll come along.
Is that all?
um... I shall come along too.
All right. Is that all? Last call.
She scares me.
All right, fair enough. Each to their own. So I'm going to gather Moonzik and Brahm. We're going to march all the way towards the captain quarters to hopefully get some answers.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm going to knock on the door. Oh wait, no. First
Come
things
in.
first. First things first. How long do we have before we get to the Sogwin's lair?
You assume that you'll probably be there by tonight.
Ooh. What time is it now? Is it like late?
Midday.
Midday?
Yeah.
Alright. So we get there by like sundown maybe?
Remember the the encounter with the Clovis Concord ship happened in the middle of the night. And so I'm assuming that you guys just slept in a little bit more than normal. And you've been talking for a bit, meandering, doing your own things. So about midday.
Alright. So yeah, midday. We're gonna head over to Three Earrings' quarters and we're gonna knock on the door.
Come in.
Hi.
You hear? Hello. You see her like kind of moving around some papers, like putting them in a stack, giving it a good tap tap on the desk before setting it down. She makes her way to you and she says, "Hi. Are you guys ready for your adventure into the depths?"
We were thinking of trying to do that an hour before dawn, simply to make the most time with these helmets.
Yes. Tell me about those helmets. I am uncertain how they work. It is a curiosity of sorts.
I mean, the these particular helmets have an enchanted spell sealed into them that allows them to have a breathable bubble generated among them for about an hour. That's
Mhm.
not the reason why we came here, though. We came here because we had some questions that we didn't feel at ease with until we got some answers to.
I am at your disposal.
Well,
What can I answer for you?
the first question that we have in mind is, I know I've asked this before, but at least I want to have some sort of assurance or some sort of idea about what will happen to this rod after we retrieve it for you. I know you're only after this rod as a sort of prize for earning money, but personally,
The
I
money is
still don't feel
nice.
at ease.
The money is nice, but as is getting it out of the hands of the Shogwen.
Well, that sounds nice, but I still don't think that I'd be at ease retrieving this weapon of incredible power without having some sort of assurance into knowing that it might end up in the hands of somebody more unscrupulous.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Alright. That one. Okay. That's a nat one.
It is hard to tell. Anyway, you guys should definitely get yourselves all set up and ready to go. I believe we will be arriving at the Shark Feathery Base here this evening, so only a couple of hours before you must make your descent.
There was one other question that I particularly had as well.
Yes. What can I do for you, Moonsick?
What do you plan to do with us once we've retrieved this scepter?
Well, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Ooh, not bad.
Well, I suppose it is up to you. Once we get the scepter, exchange it for the coin, give you your part, you're free to do whatever you want. And I suppose, depending on your actions, some of you I have quite taken a liking to, and I might, if you wanted to stay aboard, the option is open, of course.
And that's all well and good, but I'm not a stranger when it comes to dirty business. What's to say that you won't throw us overboard as soon as our contract is done, just so that way you get the most bang for your coin?
What have I done that causes you to distrust me as such?
Not the least of which would be us having no clue we were on a revelry ship to begin with. That knowledge being thrust upon us in combat with the Clovis Concord.
Which we were pretty much all alone with, might I add.
I'm very appreciative.
Heidi and Heidi and Borth were the ones helping us, sure, and there were crewmen who were manning the ballista, but we had to defend them. And remember Heidi swinging a couple times and not having the best of luck. And I don't know much else, as I was knocked unconscious as well.
Yes. Thank you, adventurers, so much for helping me onto the ship. Honestly, did not expect some sort of incursion as happened. Defending the ship and defending the honor did quite a lot in my eyes for you all. As for the others and their how do you say, involvement, the only person I am as concerned that didn't do anything was still you. And, unfortunately, he is a rather new member to the crew. He only joined a few days ago before you. And I have to understand he is a little bit more on edge. It's, as for the fact that this is a revelry ship, you have to understand, from my perspective, not everybody looks at the revelry as they should, as the organization that we are. They see us as pirates and thieves, but that is simply not true. We are a organization that strives to ensure that the seas are free from the likes of the Clovis Concord. But with these assumptions that are made about us, I'm not going to flaunt myself up and about. Until that moment, how was I to know that you weren't Concord spies? Secrets are meant to be kept. For
From
such
my
occasions.
perspective, I'd like to at least analyze this from an objective point of view. And in either way, I don't fear that our distrust towards you or this particular ship itself was misguided. Remember, it doesn't matter what the revelry stands for or what particular morals or ideas you try to strive for. The mere objective fact of the matter is that being on this ship that we had no clue was a revelry ship when we initially boarded did expose my party and I to some degree of danger in our skirmish with the Clovis Concord yesterday. That fact
As would have. Go ahead.
That fact still remains true.
You can't expect to keep secrets and be trusted the entire time. While I respect your need for secrecy, you can also understand our distrust after having a secret kept from us.
I completely do understand your distrust. That is right now with these words. I am not acting negatively. You have to understand, from my perspective, not all things should be set about. I have a question. What is everybody's charisma modifiers?
+1.
+2.
+0.
+1.
Yeah, Moonsig's got the highest.
+4.
That makes sense.
Oh.
All right, wonderful.
Let me.
She is going to pointedly Moonsick and Miles. When she says everybody has their own secrets, she's going to make eye contact with you two.
I thought it was just Edward, Brom, and Moonsick.
Yeah, that's the only
yeah.
people who are in here.
Edward. Oh, Edward. If it's just Edward, Brom, and Moonsick. That's right. You guys were the only ones that said you were coming. So Moonsick. She is going to look directly at you when she says everybody has secrets and reasons to keep them.
I also walk up. Oh, what's all this I'm overhearing?
No.
They're currently no. They are currently in the captain's quarters, and you chose not to go with them.
Yeah.
And I apologize for that confusion at first, because, but yeah. So, everybody has secrets and reasons why they keep them.
That's all fair, but the reasons that we all keep might not pertain to a specific situation such as this.
Look, I am saying this to you all because you have been nothing but pleasant on my ship. I did not tell you that we were revelry. However, I have done nothing to indicate that I don't have everybody's best interest in heart. I have rescued refugees and brought them back. I am trying to get the Rod of Retribution out of Salachai's hands. I have the best of intentions. I apologize if you feel slighted that I did not tell you immediately about the ship. However, unforeseen circumstances. You could have received the rod had the Concord not come. You could have received the rod for us. We could have sold it. You could have gotten your money and left with no problems whatsoever, without ever having a slightest indication. However, unforeseen circumstances had happened. Somehow the Clovis Concord found their way to us, and it is only because I have spent time with you all, I do not believe it was you who gave our location away. If I had reason to believe that, you would be in the brig.
That is fair enough.
So trust me or not, that is your prerogative. But I have placed my trust in you all.
Fair enough, I understand. As long as we don't keep any more secrets or concealment or deception among us, I feel we could mutualistically benefit moving forward. But at least I'd like to set down one sort of condition or ground rule regarding this rod. And that is that when we obtain it, that we at least know where it's going, who you're selling it to, and we want information and details about it, or at least as much information or details as possible about the intricacies about these transaction of the rod, so that we know that it doesn't end up into the wrong hands. Otherwise,
Roll a
our
persuasion
retrieving
check.
it would be for naught. Persuasion?
Roll a persuasion check. I'm not going to have you roll with disadvantage, but do know that the DC is raised for that because you have tried this exact same argument basically and have failed. So with a 14, she says, "I will do everything in my power to get you the information that you need. But until we have the rod and until I find a buyer, I do not know."
I have
If
one
that is
other
all,
thing
yes. What can I do for you,
I
bro?
would like to ask. This is perhaps much, but Edward has shown skill with deciphering the magic of these helmets. When we get the rod, can he hold on to it and attempt to understand what exactly the rod does? That might help us put a better price on it.
I
And-
agree. If he could do such a thing, that would save me a small penny.
And
No objections with taking such actions?
Of finding out how it works and what it does? No.
I think if he's the only one who understands it, he should keep it. Up until we can pass it on to the buyer.
I would firmly disagree with that. I think it would probably be safe, locked up out of everyone's hands. No offense, Edward. If you decided to use the rod against me for some unknown reason, I do not wish to have the regret.
This is
I
why
have
I
a
brought
locked
up.
chest.
This is why I brought up the problem of trust. You see, if we have two
I think we should
untrusting
probably meet
parties,
halfway. Trust is a
Could-
two-way street.
absolutely.
I would agree to your
Could I-
term of leaving this rod in the locked chest, so long as this particular chest itself is within supervision of both parties, at least. That way,
I think I could. I think I could make do with that.
Perhaps she has the key to the chest, but we have the chest. We would have no way of opening it.
But
And you would have, and we would have the chest itself.
We
But-
could just install 2 locks.
that would be interesting. I think that would work better. Having 2 locks instead of 1 lock and then the other having the chest. Cause there's no stopping the chest itself being destroyed. And the rod being unscathed as a result. And free to take.
I don't believe 2 locks changes that problem. This is why I emphasized the problem of trust before we went below the waves. I see, as soon as I mentioned who kept the rod, both parties got their hackles up. Both decided to create ways of keeping it out of hands and ways of immediately destroying those solutions. I believe, in this one instance, if we are to trust you and the revelry after this secret was kept from us, you should need to trust us.
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh. This is getting good.
Oh no.
Oh,
Fuck.
that is not good. That's a 3.
Look, I have been nothing but open and honest with you. And even in today's conversation. And the one circumstance that I had to keep something private, I have since come out with. And you all can empathize with that.
I can. I have been nothing but honest as well. This is why I find it odd that the trust that you ask us to extend to you is not extended back.
I have said that I do indeed trust you. That is why I thought it was a mutual agreement that we could keep the chest out where everybody can see between both parties. I did agree to that. Pressing for more shows a strong distrust towards me, and it is quite, how do I say? I want to be able to trust you. But you group, continuing to press and push me, push the boundaries that I have set as the ship's captain, has been, I have put up with it.
Taxing?
We go get the rod. I will put it in a locked chest. I will give you all the key. The chest will stay in my quarters, where I know nobody else is going to touch it. That be you or the crew. It is a dangerous and powerful magical object, and I do not want some sort of unforeseen circumstances causing my ship to sink beneath the waves, just as the Flora Isle did. Once we get to land, we will go through there. However, this seems like a fair deal. Nobody has access to it. It is just sitting there in a chest. You all have the key if you so desire.
I think we can agree to those
But can-
terms.
I can
Wonderful.
agree. I apologize if I caused offense. I did not mean
Please.
to.
I have much to do.
Miles is going to knock on
Emotions.
the door quick.
Thank
She
you for
motions
your...
for you all to leave the door.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Yep.
Before
Uh,
we leave, Moonsick would like to make an insight check to her last statements.
Do so.
mhm.
High or low, he's not going to say anything.
You have the sense that she is very irritated with you all for continuing to pressure her, and to question her decision-making skills. And you notice that based off of this conversation, that rather than more trust being gained, trust was lost. And she is frustrated. You can see as just as you glance behind your eye, you can see her go back behind her desk, and she puts her hands in her head, like on her, her head in her hands, and kind of just rubs her face. Gives a big sigh, and gets back to work.
There'll be a knock on the door again, or does Miles see the door open?
Sure, Miles sees the door open as you all leave.
Yep.
Oh! Hello, I just needed to... Captain, are you busy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I will ask another time then.
Thank you.
Perhaps I won't see if we have rope for us if we happen to drown. This way you can't pull us back up.
The door is shut as you say that, and you hear her lock it. She's very irritated by the group of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at Moonsick, Brom, and Edward and go, so what did you do?
Confronted her about this being a revelry ship, and I attempted to say that she had to trust us with the rod. She did not take kindly to that
And then,
insinuation.
Well,
then we had a very long
if you felt
discussion
like-
about trust.
If you felt like you had to be forced to be trusted out of distrust, wouldn't that upset you as well? Have you not seen the actions she's provided? She has saved countless citizens. She has fought off the Clovis and
I
helped
don't
us.
need you telling me her lines.
The thing of the matter is that she still jeopardized the party. And I do think that we still have some grounds to have some basis of mistrust among her.
Animal wants to hushly say,
Currently,
why are we giving so much credit to these pirates?
whether our stance on this or not? It
I
seems
think everybody
that
just needs to relax and focus on what we have ahead instead of the trust of what we have.
Fair enough.
We
I'm
haven't
going
even
to retire
obtained
to my-
anything, and we need to survive first. We need to focus on what's at hand. When the time comes and we get what we need, then we'll worry about who can trust who.
Fair enough.
But for the time being, we need to focus on surviving and not trust.
Yep.
as long as we all have trust amongst ourselves.
Alright, fair enough. I'm going to retire to my hammock. If you guys need me, knock on the door. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna short rest before we start the, Sagwin encounter so that I can have full spell slots.
Yep, me too.
Did you spend your spell slots?
I used mage armor, remember?
Okay.
So I have arcane
can
recovery that
you-
lets me recover a spell slot.
Okay. Now we will take a short break. I know it's only been about an hour and a half, but
This is pretty good
yeah,
stuff.
we'll take a short break.
Okay.
I'll go
Alrighty.
grab food.
So we'll come back here at